Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Adam. Welcome to another P3D video. In this one, we're asking the question, can the BAC 111 get across the Atlantic?
3 arrival west, that's Angel Tech by control. Yeah, look at that, it's 122, 358,
The BAC 111 is a plane designed for short hauls. It has a maximum range of 2,040 kilometers and a maximum fuel allowance of 24,000 pounds, 949 pounds of fuel. So the route to America, going from, say, Birmingham, which is where we're at right now, heading to New York, is 5,611 kilometers. So initially it wouldn't even get halfway. You know, that's like almost 3 times its range. This is the 300 series as well. Now, different versions of the BAC 111 carry different ranges. For instance, the 475 series has a range of 3,000 kilometers. Now, the reason I've chosen the 300 series is because what we've done is we've ripped out all the passenger seats inside, which the maximum payload allowance for passengers and their cargo is 10,590 pounds, and replace that with fuel tanks that are all stitched together. And what will happen is, as the fuel, is used naturally in the plane, then these big tanks inside the fuselage will filter back in during flight. So obviously we're maxed out at our payload allowance here, which is 88,500 pounds of gross weight that is allowed for takeoff. We're actually at 86,000, so we could actually squeeze like 2,000 more pounds of fuel really on board. But we're not going to do that. We're actually, in this reconfigured setup, we're actually taking with us 35,000 pounds, 539 pounds of fuel. So obviously at the moment all the tanks are maxed out, and then the weight of the plane is maxed out as well. Actually, that needs to change. There's only 1 crew member, but actually no, there's two, that's fine. So yeah, the weight of the plane is maxed out, and then as we basically load fuel in and replace the tanks through flight, this weight will get reduced during flight. So yeah, so we're sat here at Birmingham. Basically, I'm going to be allowed to refill the center tank once, plus 3,711 pounds worth of extra fuel. So this is going to be a little interesting, because will it make it across the Atlantic with the fuel that I give it? I don't know if it will, to be honest. I have been told by pilots that the BAC 111 has made the Atlantic run, but I think that was going via Iceland, where they could refuel with a lot, more fuel in the same configured state that we're doing it today. So yeah, should be interesting. Let's get on board, let's get it all set up and get ready for takeoff. We're due to leave in like 30 minutes. So here we go. First things first is I've already loaded the fuel on board and everything, so we don't need to worry about that. But we do need to start off. We've got some ground power here, I believe. Yep. So we need to start the battery off. So get that going, get the juices.
Echo Golf Bravo, Bravo, airport information, Charlie, 0720, Zulu, weather, wind, 220, at 7, visibility, 10,
Rip my ears.
sky condition, ceiling, 600, broken, ceiling, 1000, overcast, temperature, 18, dew point, 17, QNH, 1012,
So
advice
that's
on
the weather
initial
report.
contact, you have information, Charlie.
So we need to set now the next 121.
Echo Golf
92.
Bravo, Bravo, airport information, Charlie,
Listen to
07.
that again. There we go. Right, we'll get our clearance in a second. Get the battery going. Right, we need to start the APU now. So APU on. push to start. When the light extinguishes, the APU is going. So that's the norm, which it is. Gen control, that is. APU generator. And air delivery valve open. And the crossfeed valve open, which is this one here. For the air. Open up the LP valves, which are these two here. And the booster pumps and the transfer pumps, turn them on. So during flight we will turn these off, and then we will manage the crossfeed of the fuel using these as well. Air conditioner master set to APU. And smoking signs on, seatbelt signs on. We got no passengers, so we can get the emergency lights on, which I think is that going down. There we go. Pitot here on. There we go. Actually, we want to check to make sure we got enough battery voltage there. Yep, that's cool. Anti-icing is off, check. Hydraulics, are they in the green? Yeah. Good, good. Hydraulic DC pump turned off, which I believe is it that one there? There it is. That's turned off. Ooh, turn off. Hydraulic engine and auxiliaries are all on. So whack them on. And ailerons, make sure that they are all working. So we've got full movement. There we go. Okay. Now we can get clearance to take off and see where our routing is going to take us.
Clearance delivery, BCC 4670 with the information request clearance. BCC 4670, runway 15. Cleared to KJSK, vector departure to identified. Climb to flight level 60, expect flight level 300 within 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency is 122.1, squawk 4506, QNH 1012.
4506.
Vectors, climb and maintain
1012.
Flight level 300 within 10 minutes after departure on 122. Decimal 1, squawk 4506. QNH 1012 BCC.
That's going to be interesting because I actually requested 25,000 feet of altitude because I don't think we're going to make 30,000 to be fair. So, but now they've put me at 30, so we're going to have to request an altitude reduction when we're in the air. Otherwise, we ain't going to ever reach that altitude. So, let's turn on our navigational lights, beacon. Fuel is on board. Parking brakes is set. Air isolation valves are open. Air conditioning masters can now be closed. The RAM valve air is set to normal, which I believe is down here.
Right there, just crossing the control zone boundary now, no height restriction.
There. And the pressure safety valve is open. And the engine generator control is both tripped, so these ones trip these two. We've got our clearance, beacon is on, engine top temperature on, which is on by default to be fair, and let's make sure the throttles are shut. Yep, throttles are shut and closed, so put them to normal. Oh no. Or do we, no, we reset them, sorry, reset them. No, we don't. We just leave them on the trip stage, I guess. Fair enough. Right. Now we need to start the engines, so let's secure our aircraft and call that back, and that should remove the wheel chocks and prepare our aircraft in a state of readiness. Right, so navigation now. The first point on our route is, see, we're taking off from runway 15, so that's fun. Our first VOR point, in fact, Most likely will be this one here, Compton 11435. So we can set that in the 11435. So set that as our first waypoint, and then the next one, which we can set up now, 11745.
06.
Got a
Squawk
squawk
4506, BCC 4670.
4506. 4506. Right, there we go. That's squawking. That's all set. We're not going to be using ADF. We're all going to be VORing it, so you'll be flying by our heading, which we can also set up down here. So runway 150. We set that.
EC639, taxi uniform, holding point Alpha 2.
And we won't know our course until we take off, but I have a feeling it'll be like something around here. So we'll sort of preempt that a little bit. Right. We're ready to get permission to start these engines.
Ground BCC 4670, request startup and pushback.
BCC 4670. Startup and pushback approved.
Roger,
QNH.
BCC
It's
4670.
1012, wasn't it? Zero 1229 89. 89. There we go. So that's the altitude set. Speeds. Yeah, let's get thingy for pushback. Right. VF speed.
Touchdown 40 right, vacate next right,
Be about
to the apron of
150,
Victor,
I reckon.
parking stand 8.
Set maximum airspeed will be just under 300.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
V1 be around 100. And rotate speed will be about 1/3. Well, probably about a bit higher, but it should be about 130.
Locking gear.
So 40 right,
V2
vacate next right, enter the apron of Victor,
be about
parking stand 11.
120.
Next right, Victor, 1142 Mike. 127 Victor Foxtrot, contact Manchester, 124
I
decimal
want to
2
say
Mike.
140.
127 Victor Foxtrot, the line. Sound 25
I'm
stand,
gonna
clear takeoff,
go
210 degrees 19.
nose right, I believe. Yeah.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted. Release parking brakes.
Parking brakes released.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
And there's 0. So put that about there. Right, now we can start these puppies up. So first thing we got to do is we're going to start the right engine first, so that lever,
BCC
cock lever's got to be moved.
4670. Squawk
And to the open position.
4506.
Start
Squawk 4506,
and
BCC 4670.
start the motor. So left engine start switch to the starting motor, which is what I'm doing now, and monitor the engine gauge on the main center panel, especially the RPM tachometer. The engines will take a while to spool up, so be patient. I can hear it now, and I think it's taken now, so I can release that. So here it's spooling up quite nicely by the looks of
Touchdown
it.
40 right, vacate next right, enter the apron of Victor, parking stand 8.
That's weird though, it's not set to the full. Strange that.
Set parking brakes.
Parking brake set.
Waiting your confirmation for good engine start.
Right, so now that one's done, we can now set for the second one, so open that up. And set this one. When the left engine is settled and its 2 amber lights have extinguished on the starter panel, set the starter switch to off, then follow the above procedure for the right engine.
Control zone boundary now, no high
When both engines have started themselves, switch the left and right engine controls to reset and then to normal. The gen warning lights should extinguish. Right, I think that one's now taken. Unless your flight duration is an hour, check that all gauges are showing normal readings and then turn the start master control knob to off, which is this thing here. So let's see if that's taken. Yep. Good readings there. So reset these. And back to normal. And then that one gets to either number 1 or number 2. Now the power is purely running off the engines and not the APU, so the APU can be shut off now. And we trip that, and then that's going to be shut off. I think the ignition can be set to high. I've already ignited it anyway, so it don't matter. Ignition switch off. Switch the APU air delivery valve and cross feed off. These two here. Right, so we've got good engine start, we can tell them. We've turned off the APU. Bus and generator lights, make sure they're all out, which they are. Air conditioning master set to APU or open, which we have to set it to open because the APU was turned off. Anti-ice, we will turn it on because we're going up quite high, so we need to extend our lights now. Set them taxi out.
disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
So to extend. Anti-ice is all turned on. Right, we can now get permission to go to the runway.
Ground BCC 4670, request taxi.
BCC 4670, taxi via Tango
Trim.
to runway 15.
Left is clear.
Right,
Right is
3 degrees
runway
worth of
15,
trim.
BCC 4670.
So I think we'll put 3.5. Flaps 18. And we can now ask to be taken to the runway. Right, so that's everything set up really. Hydraulic pumps are on and auxiliary 2 is off. Door warning lights are all turned out, which they are. Parking brake is off, which it is now. Flaps are set for takeoff. Battery, check that that's on. Ooh. Battery is on and showing meters. Takeoff speeds have been checked and set. Reverser lights are out. Definitely. And landing lamps are there as required, which we are good to now begin our roll. Let's go.
639, taxi uniform, holding point Alpha 2. Uniform Alpha 2, runway 27, thank you, 6639.
Now this model of the BAC 111 isn't a fully working model. There are some systems on here which are not modelled. And we're really heavy. This thing is not moving. Huh. This is going to be an interesting takeoff, to be fair. We're full of fuel. We're basically a giant bomb.
Zone 4 zone right, vacate next right, and to the aim for the Victor.
Will we even take off? That's the question. I mean, we should do, because we're just at full load, so we should even be able to take off. There's no problem there, basically. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take us up to the cruise altitude for a moment, and then I won't obviously be filming the entire journey because it's over 6 hours long. So a little history on the BAC 11. It's like the second ever commercial airliner jet engines. The sleek design look of it. I mean, this is from the 60s. This was designed and built. It was the first ever British jet airliner, but the second one in the world. I think the French had one out just prior to this. And then the Americans copied this design and made the MD-80 design from it. The only difference between this one and the American one is that this had a little Achilles heel. Hang on a sec, runway 15. That's the other way.
Straight there, just crossing the control zone boundary now, no height
Runway
restriction.
15, runway 5 is down this end.
So about report passing
I don't know where he was
2,500.
taking me then. Just realised that's runway 330 up there. I'm going to have to abandon it. We'll just head our own way. It's down here, the bottom end. I don't know why he took us this way. Anyway. Yeah, so the BAC 111, its engines, are really super loud. I mean, this, you can't really hear it here. This doesn't really do it justice. It is super loud engines.
Vacant right, today for the Victor,
The problem came into effect when the law for the engine level, the decibel level, changed and was lowered to a certain level, which these engines exceeded that volume level. So the airliners were given a choice to attach these hush kits to the engines, which would sort of be attached here, which would lower the volume of the engine, or to sell the aircraft to other areas of the world where this law was not enforced. And every airliner chose to just get rid of the plane instead of converting it, because the conversion would be quite expensive and really wouldn't be worth the money to convert it. Like, it wouldn't make that money back very quickly. And this, by that time in the 80s, was like an old design. So more, like 737 was out, so A300 or A320 was out, so airliners really weren't that fussed for losing this, which is really sad because it is a nice little regional hopper, nice little plane. And I think as late as 2019 was the last sort of recorded flight. I think somewhere in Africa they were being used up until 2019. They're not used anymore though, sadly, in the world. So it's only in flight simulation will you see a BAC 111 flying in the skies. You'll never see one in the skies of England, unfortunately, just because the noise level, they're too loud. So, which is sad. But yeah, I'm glad that we've got it here. But yeah, they are small regional hoppers, 2,000 kilometer range. Will comfortably get you from London to Iceland, with fuel to spare, But to hop across the Atlantic, like, you'd have to go up to Greenland from Iceland and then onto Canada, and it would get across the Atlantic, but it would have to hop the land masses to get there. We're actually going to go across the Atlantic Ocean and refuel mid-air from the fuel that we've got on board, So it should be quite interesting to see if it actually will make it or not, So, and I'm hoping the weather when we get to New York is going to be okay. We'll be landing at JFK Airport. Hopefully the weather this time of year is okay. It's end of the summer now, so weather, as you can see, is overcast in Birmingham. New York kind of almost has similar weather.
Next right, and today for the Victor, parking stand 8.
Right, we need to get permission to get on the taxiway here. Oh no.
BCC 4670, contact tower on 180.3.
118.3 BCC 4670. Tower BCC 4670, holding short of runway 15, ready for departure. BCC 4670, line up runway 15. Lining up runway 15, BCC 4670.
I have a feeling this is going to be a very sluggish takeoff. In fact, hopefully as soon as we get on here, he'll give us our clearance. We can just power max it because we're all set up.
Tower, good morning, Italia 200, fully established, 27 left.
To set this to...
BCC 4670, wind 220 at 7, runway 15, cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff, boys. Here we go.
Runway 15,
Rock and
BCC
roll.
4670.
Here we go. Will we get in the air? That's the first hurdle. We are heavy as sin. I mean, we haven't even hit 60 yet. This is going to be a very dicey takeoff. Right, 80. V1. Give me that 130. V, that's rotate. Dude, it ain't rotating. We ain't taking off. Oh, there we go. In the air. Oh, barely. Right. Positive climb. Wheels up. That barely lifted, that did. I mean, right. So now that we are lifting, I'm going to turn the autopilot on. This is where it gets really dicey now because this autopilot is going to be taking us up. Put that to 2,000.
Right, 707.
2,200, sorry. So that's it. Now we're flying completely
Departure BCC 4670,
by
passing
this.
1,200
So
for flight level
VOR's kicked in.
BCC 4670,
Flaps
climb to flight
up.
level 60.
Climbing to flight level 60, BCC
60, roger that.
4670.
We got to do a turn. So I just need to know what the course is for the turn. Speed is a little bit low, to be honest. We need to get that puppy up.
BCC 4670, turn left, heading 105.
What's
Climb
left?
to flight level 160 to ADMEX.
Left turn to heading 105, climbing to
105.
flight level 160 to ADMEX, BCC 4670.
Okay, doing a lefty. Right, let's do our checklist here now. Not even sure if we finished the before takeoff checklist, to be honest. Right, gear up, check. Flaps up, check. APU off, check. Start switches off. Start switches off. Yep, check. Landing lights up. Check. Air conditioning master set to open, check.
3029, present on the ILS, established on the local level
check.
195.
Altimeters are set. Hydraulic pumps 1 is now off. Check. And the transfer pumps and booster pumps are open during climb, which we're still climbing. And oh my gosh, we're in the clouds. There is no land. Right, so we need to do a turn now to our course, which is this way, for the first meetup, which is in 55 miles. Whoa, there's Birmingham. Very cloudy today.
And we do need to move west if available to south end of the valley.
325 Alpha, roger. It may mean that you need
At this
to go
altitude,
between
it is
3 and
anyway.
4,000 feet to do
I mean, it
that.
looks like it's
Because at
patchy, to be
4,000
honest.
feet it
It's
may well be a bit
patchy
too
clouds.
high for Heathrow's inbound. We'll see how it goes. Let me know before you move west of City Airport.
So basically, during the climb, we need to monitor our speed. We don't want to be underspeeding or even overspeeding. So at the moment, our rate of climb is 2,200 feet per minute, which is quite steep. Most most planes can actually manage like 4,000, but if you're quite heavy, they only go around about 1,500 to 1,800. But these engines are really good. So we're rocketing. We're basically going to drain this tank into these two. Okay, so I'm going to turn on the cross feed valve, and what's going to happen is it's going to empty this tank into these two tanks, and then when these run down to about 1, I'm going to refill this centre tank and also pop in an extra 3,000 pounds between these two tanks, and that's all fuel will be added. So
Copy that traffic. Completion of this orbit of the dome, we can depart to the north side as required.
I'm not sure why we're having to head down south. Like, why can't we just go to the west straight away? Why are we having to head down south first? But that's the flight plan that we have to stick to. You know, it does seem kind of silly a little bit because we're having to travel all the way down here first before we can then head off over here. So, anyway, that's the next VOR that we're about to punch in when we make our turn. In about 50 miles. So we now need to go and find another VOR point along this route. So
Ruben 447 hello, Squawk Ident, maintain altitude 3,000 feet on reaching.
Oh, here's one. That'll do. So, should be one there. There we go. So we'll tap in that one once we transfer the VOR over. Put that on the screen so I can see it. So we've got 44 miles to go until that happens though. As we get higher, because we're only going up to 1,000 feet. In fact, I think we should have made it 6,000. I don't know if we've been cleared up to...
Romeo Echo, the traffic just leaving the big and overhead at 2,200 feet in AA5.
Romeo Echo, copy.
Kelly speed 210.
Say again, BCC 4670.
BCC 4670. Turn left, heading 105. Climb to flight level 160 to ADMEX.
Cleared to 16,000.
Left turn to heading 175. Climbing to flight level 160 to EMK BCC 4670.
BCC 4670. Climb and maintain flight level 300.
Well, I don't think we're going to get to 300, mate, so I'm going to request flight level 25,000. Thank you very much. Because we're definitely going to make that, mate.
Request flight level 250 BCC 4670.
BCC 4670. Climb to flight level 250.
Now, as we climb higher, unfortunately, we can't maintain the same rates, otherwise our speed will die. So we have to shallow off this this height. So we'll take that down to 1,500, and then that speed should regain a little bit. We might even have to go up to 1,000, to be honest. But we want to maintain a certain speed for our climb, and that'll prevent a stall. Take it to 1,000. So that should regain quite a lot of speed.
Golf Juliet Tango, unidentified
Keeping
traffic,
the
just passing Epsom Racewater and
heading
west,
on
no
track.
eyesore type information.
Now, the closer we get to our VOR,
Kelly speed 2, Squawk
frequency, which
Ident,
is
London QNH 1028
more
millibar.
erratic this is going to become, where I'm going to have to keep
BCC
on constantly changing.
4670. Contact Manchester on 118
Decimal.
77.
118 decimal 77 BCC 4670. Manchester BCC 4670, passing flight level 150 for flight level 250.
BCC 4670. Roger.
Continue on BCC 4670.
I mean, we're at full throttle. You know, we've got another 10,000 feet to climb. It's pretty windy as well, to be fair. beautiful Britain down there. Clouds are almost pink at this time of day. Pretty cool. So when we get to about 10 miles away from that VOR point, we're basically going to go and punch in the next VOR, which is this frequency 11745, and then I can add that other one, 113.3, to the menu, as it were. So it's queued up and ready to go, and it's basically just hopscotching these numbers until we get to America. You know, there's going to be a point, obviously, when we cross the Atlantic where there's no VOR numbers, in which case we just have to go by blind faith of we head in this direction and eventually we will hit land, and that number, and it will appear in our DME
contact
here.
London 135.57. Bye-bye.
By pure faith alone. And again, hoping that our tanks don't, you know. Right, speed's regaining a little bit, so we can actually improve our rate of climb now. As we get higher, the air gets thinner, there's less resistance on the plane, and therefore we can actually go faster. So as that climbs up higher, we can actually increase our rate, which will get us up. This is like a transition altitude. I'm not even sure what the altimeter should be set to at this altitude. I don't know what the standard
American 137, turn right, heading
pressure
330.
Heading 330, alert 137.
fact, what altimeter reset. There we go. In fact, I think the only way to find out is just to reset it using the simulation. No. Nothing did change. 1013 I think it went up to. That's the standard, I guess. Fair enough. Can't see the ground now. So if you're a passenger on board, this is the viewpoint you'd have off the wing. Very nice. So yeah, we're getting closer now. It's getting more precise for which direction we've exactly got to head.
US Air 49.
So as you can see, the fuel is going down in the center, and it's actually rising in the left and the right, and that's because we're transferring it over from the center to the left and right, keeping the wings full, and basically we'll re-top up the center when it empties, when it drains. Right, 20 miles out.
Roger control, reach 7167, good day, level 350.
Reach 7167, thank you, maintain flight level 350. Set course now, direct to Redsley, Romeo Echo Mike Sierra India.
Okay, Redsley, press 7167.
We look at our flight plan. This is basically our flight plan here. I kind of did configure it for maximum payload, no passengers, and the fuel basically, ramped up to its maximum. So
New Zealand 1 turn left, heading
obviously this fuel
34
amount is
340,
pretty much what we've
Seabird
got.
1 to November, turn right, heading
actually got
360, climb, flight level 100.
5,000
Head north, climb flight level 100, Seabird 1 to November. Shuttle 2 Golf, radar heading 360, further climb 5 miles. Heading 360, shuttle 2 Golf.
Coming up to 20,000. So another 5,000 feet, and we shall level off. Probably about the same time we're going to be doing our turn.
London from 2958. Is 330 going to be a final today?
What's the request level speed of 2958?
350 was requested, 2958.
Stand by.
To be fair, the fact that we're dropping speed, I don't even know if we'll make 25,000 because of our weight. We might have to settle for like 21 or 22. Let me reduce that. Rate of climb. Give me that sort of speed back. But it's only because of our weight was that we're going so slow.
70502, start your descent now.
Heads up, we are starting descent, 70502.
Thank you,
Yeah, we might have
70502,
to,
after Mayfield 250 knots.
Settle for
After
a lower
Mayfield, 250
altitude.
knots, 70502.
I'm going to ask for 22 because I don't think we're going to make 25.
Request flight level 220 BCC 4670. BCC 4670. Climb maintain flight level 220. Climbing to flight level 220 BCC 4670.
I mean, we're pushing it to the max here. We really are. But as we drain off our fuel, we will lose the weight of the plane as well, which means we will be able to go higher during when we transfer off. Right, so we're going to punch in the next VOR now, so that's that, and then we're going to update.
Morning,
this
London,
one.
Seabird 284, flight level 390. Stuart 284, thanks. Reach 5275, climb flight level 290.
290, reach 5275.
113.3. There we go, that's the next one. That one now should become alive. There it is. And now we know which way we have to make our turn. Which, to be fair, well, it should be to the... Oop, there it is. Right, so we have to do a turn
Speedbird 117 on navigation to
to the
Dunlow.
west.
Navigation Dunlow, Steven 117.
78 miles until our next
Daniel 206 on
course.
navigation at
So, right,
Heading
now
on
we're
206,
gonna
thanks a lot. And we're going to stay 290.
kill.
Are you
We're
requesting
hitting
higher?
our 22,000
I think we'll stay here now,
feet.
thanks a lot, 290.
So,
Okay, thanks.
there we go, 22,000 attained. Flight level. Now it'll keep that 22,000, and that speed will increase. We'll do a turn. We've got 78 miles until our next one. Oh, hello, Britain. Look at that down there. Beautiful, eh? It's gorgeous. Airport
Second
there.
136, entering, holding at Bovington. Second 136, thank you. Just make a right-hand turn back to Bovington now. Red leave heading 120 degrees at 220 knots.
120 degrees at 220 knots out of Bovington, American 136.
What airport is that? That airport is one of three. If it's off our right side, it's Oxford Airport. That's pretty cool. Looks gorgeous. Holy moly. Holy moly. Does it look like off this side? Oh, it's even better. Oh, yeah.
BCC 4670. Clear to KE and evening. Turn to heading 285. Maintain present altitude.
Yeah, we're already
Clear
doing
to
that,
wreck
mate.
KE and ET intersection. Heading 285. Present
285,
altitude
we'll just change
BCC
this
4670.
We're already pretty much doing that, mate. Right, so now that we're heading to that VOR, which is one back here, the next one queued up is this one. We now need to sort of find a track to head for. So this is our flight plan here. across the Atlantic like that. So if we're gonna be coming from there and then hit this one, we need kind of a track that's over here.
British 435, resume navigation direct to Margate.
That looks,
United 929, resume your navigation direct to Margate.
probably that one is probably the next best one to head for. Yeah. So that will be our next waypoint once we swap over. So that's the one off Ireland, the 1130, and then we'll type in 1137.
Left turn to heading to 10 BCC 4670.
Oh, he's trying to keep us, yeah. So my flight plan like this, he's trying to keep me on this track here, where we're actually heading to VORs. So I mean, we're going in the same direction. It's fine. If I actually turn to that track now, I'll lose my, this will change and it won't give me an accurate reading. So I actually need to stick to the needle that I'm going for. The thing I can do to help myself, I think, is ask to head to it straight away, a different, so if I ask to go direct to,
Good afternoon, Ryanair 405, leveling 280, operator heading at 325.
Ryanair 405, watch continue on the
that's the name of the waypoint, unfortunately.
Level 310, Ryanair 405.
BCC 4670, clear to GAVGL, turn heading 290, maintain present altitude. Clear direct GAVGL intersection, heading 290, present altitude, BCC 4670.
290, we could probably do that anyway, to be fair. 278, no we couldn't actually, we need to actually turn to 280, so yeah, we do need to request direct to DICAS.
Request direct DICAS, BCC 4670. BCC 4670, clear to DICAS, maintain present heading and altitude.
There we go.
Clear direct DICAS, intersection, present heading and altitude. Continue on BCC 4670.
Turn off and back. 60 miles to go to the next one. And that's basically it, guys. I mean, we're at cruise now. We're at our top of flight cruise and we're traveling just over 200 miles an hour. Beautiful Britain below. Oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous. And I'm going to cut the video now and I shall come back kind of when we're halfway across the Atlantic. When I'm about to refuel the tanks, well, I'll come back and, you know, we can see what it's like there. So basically, brought us back because we're just literally about to drain our first tank. So we've actually burned through 9,014 pounds of
Bravo Charlie 4670, turn left heading to 905.
Left turn to heading 295, BCC 4670.
295. There we go. So basically, what's happened now is this is going to light up in a second as soon as we have drained the rest of this tank off, which should do any second now, really. And then what we're going to have to do is we're going to load in 9,014 pounds worth of fuel, meaning we've also got 3,711 left to fill in once we burn through that tank. Which, there we go, that's now dead, so we can turn off that, turn off the transfer pumps, and turn off the boost pumps for now. And so now it's just going to fill, it's just going to use the tanks in this here. So what we need to do first off is refill the center tank, because that's completely empty, so 100% that. And that's going to give us 6,879,000 pounds of fuel, which we need to deduct from down here. So if we take, okay, so if we basically nuke that weight there and drop that down to 1,000, then all we have to do minus 6,879 is get rid of 1,189 more pounds. So if we reduce that down to 275, we just need to get rid of 189. So I'll tell you what, we'll just get rid of the 200, and that's £11 difference, which, to be honest. Okay, so there we go. So now we've reconfigured. So we come back into the sim, and we now are full back up again. We can now turn on the crossfeed and the boosters, and again it will drain just the center tank only. We are lighter in our thingy, so we could effectively go up by 2,000 feet because we will just be getting lighter and lighter. So request an altitude of 1,000 feet. Just to see. So we'll go up to 26. Request altitude of 26.
Request flight level 260, BCC 4670.
Bravo, Charlie 4670. Climb to flight level 260.
So
climbing to flight level 260, BCC 4670.
We'll climb 700 feet because the speed, we got to make sure we don't fall on that. But that's basically it. Now I don't know why that's not 100%. That looks a little bit iffy, because yeah, that should say, like, I know we've burned through some, but that should be full surely to here. I kind of feel like I've been ripped off here because I have 100%ed that tank. The other two tanks actually should be full as well. They should have exactly 100% in, although they would have used a little bit during the time that we...
Right, 085, you reach level 200, level by Mesa. 200, level Mesa, order 085. Blue Star 373, you reach level 240, level water 30 before begin. Clear level 240, level 30 before begin, Blue Star 373.
1,000. We probably could get away with going to 27,000 as well. I won't push it. But to be honest, we're just passing Ireland, so I'm a little bit curious as if this will actually work, because I've only got 3,711, basically half of that tank again.
120 descending by level 110 in the whole Bovington. 932 my Papa, what you're holding up Bovington delay is about 15 minutes. Okay, 15 minutes.
We might actually get away with going up again, to be honest, so we'll wait before we raise up anymore. So basically what we're doing is I have asked ATC to track me all the way to New York. So this is where we are. So this is where we're heading. Even though our flight plan comes here, the first VOR point is here. So I've asked to go direct to here. So ATC think I'm going to be coming past this point anyway. So that will be okay. But to be fair, we're just here.
Yankee 4,400, climbing 6,000 on
I've already burned through just under 7,000 pounds of fuel. We've just got to here, so I mean, this puppy can take 35,000. So the fact that we've only covered that much distance and we've still got like 30,000 pounds of fuel left, I think we possibly could do it. If not to New York, we will definitely be landing at an airport, I reckon, somewhere around here, if we haven't got enough fuel to get to that point. So there we go. So that's it, really. I shall bring us back
Bravo, Charlie
when we are closer to descent, or when we've run out of fuel, whichever one that will be.
I'm on.
131, yes, 15, BCC 4670.
Channel 1, contact number 134, that's 1, please.
3455,
Shannon, BCC 4670 with you, at flight level 260, BCC.
Okay, so bringing us back for one final time. Our fuel tank now has just depleted in the middle. We're not even halfway over the Atlantic, to be fair. I'm actually getting a little bit worried here. Let me show you where we are. We are Here is the GPS map. We are here, and land is there. So we're on the final tank of being able to fill up as well. So it's a little bit worrying that we haven't got as far as I'd like to. So we've got 3,711 pounds of fuel now to put on board. So we go into the fuel payload manager. We're getting rid of 3,000 and then 711, which is basically all of this weight going down to 0. Okay, now we're just trading it off for fuel, so we've actually still got the weight on board, but you know, now there is 2 crews, so we'll leave that there. So these, now what's going to happen is these are all going to be 100% basically again, which I will just, because the center tank has been keeping these 2 completely full. Now I wonder what happens if I put 110 in, like 110%. Does that work? Does that equal? Does that work out? 6879. No, it doesn't. It just says 100. Right. Okay. So there we go. Now we're basically back to being. That's it. We've used up all our fuel. Our payload is only the weight of the captain, myself, and the co-pilot. Our fuel is now full, as if we've got a full load. And that's basically it. That's all we can do. So as you can see here, back to full tanks. Now we're going to start pumping in using the center tank again to the 2 external tanks, or the 2 wing tanks. Sorry. So that's going to go back on. So that again is going to feed into these 2 tanks. Again, the fuel is just constantly flowing from center to wings and to engine. And then of course once this runs dry, it's going to be just what's in the wing tanks only. So I'm hoping this will get us where we need to go. I mean, I don't know how far we've got left to travel, but to be honest, we're not even halfway across the Atlantic. So I'm hoping, I mean, I have now refueled all I can. That's it, we've got all the fuel on board, but but the one thing that now is that we haven't got our payload, but we're still effectively the same weight as before I just refilled the tanks. All I've done is shifted that cargo weight into the fuel tank, so we're still carrying it. But when this one drains empty, we're actually going to be able to climb up to 30,000 feet. We're at 27,000 feet now. I was able to actually climb an extra 1,000 feet, but once it drains dry, we can actually climb like 3,000 feet higher, which means we're going to get to our destination a little bit quicker as well. So hopefully, yes. Say we're over the Atlantic, nothing to really see. Hopefully we'll make it. I'll bring us back when either our tanks are dry or we're coming in on a descent for land. So, fingers crossed. Here we go. See you soon.